Hello everyone, I'm Tatiana from 21 Kittens and welcome to this week's video. So I initially had planned on recording a video about making bookmarks, but then I got distracted when I remembered that leftover piece of paper I used with my new super granulating watercolors. The paper in question was the Saunders Waterford, 100% cotton, 300 GSM. It is an excellent paper and I would put it up there next to Arches. However, that little scrap was not behaving as expected, soaking up all the water quickly and not letting the pigment flow as it should. This got me worried that perhaps my whole block of Saunders might have gone bad, so I decided to test it out before painting the bookmarks. I'm thinking I'm gonna do a trial first using wet paint on dry paper and see how that goes. Later I'm gonna try the wet on wet technique. Let's go with the ultramarine. This brush is a bit too big for my half pans. I mean, so far so good, although I'm not too sure. There is a sort of fading that is going on here, and I'm not too sure that's a good sign. And it has dried out fairly quickly. Let's try again with a bit more water on my brush. And I'm still reaching for the ultramarine. It's not quite perfect, so to speak. Now I'm going to try and wet the paper first and then apply the color. I mean, I can see the puddles of the water, but it might be soaking it a bit too quickly for my liking. If you didn't know, watercolor paper can go bad, and this is due to the sizing that is inside it. Sizing in this context is an agent that is added to paper in order to control its absorbency of water, and it is in fact this agent going bad that will make your paper not work properly. Okay, so the paper seems to be working okay, but from what I recall when I tried it the first time, it's that it was as good as the Arches, and I'm not getting that Arches feeling with this paper, if you kind of know what I mean. I noticed during editing that I got sidetracked, testing the paper and comparing it to Arches, which is not what I had intended on doing. So I've had to scrap that footage. Instead, I've recorded this bit to show you exactly how a quote-unquote bad paper will react. For starters, when you add water to it, you will immediately notice that the water is sucked right through rather than staying on top of the paper. Then, when you try to apply the paint, the pigment will not flow properly, making it very hard to blend. If you touch it, you'll notice it's damp rather than wet. You can try to work the paint as much as you want, but it's no use. Now here's how the water reacts on good paper. When applied, you'll notice a sheen And then when you add the paint, it is effortless. The pigment mixes well with the water rather than sinking into the paper. You'll also notice how the good paper still has that sheen, whilst the bad one doesn't. In my case, you can see that the water even went through the paper. This means that your paper is unusable with watercolors. You can still use it for dry media and even gouache or acrylic, but you'll have to gesso it first. In any case, if you have a lot of paper that has gone bad, don't throw it away just yet, as I'm sure you can still find uses for it, even if it's just for pencil sketches. Okay, I have been doing a few more tests on this paper to see if it had effectively gone bad or not, and I think it hasn't. I mean, I did struggle a bit on this part. Not struggle, but I noticed that something was a bit off over here, but then it was working okay on this part. And then comparing it to the arches, it was also not too different. I did use up the next page after this one, and you will see that part in my next video. And then I removed that page, and I also painted on the next page. I did a very wet on wet technique on this page, and I have to say the paper worked fine. No complaints whatsoever. It did soak up the water correctly. It did leave some water on top correctly as well. So for now, I think this paper is working fine, thankfully. I think what might have happened with my little sample is that I left it outside for a very long time, and it could have been exposed to moisture and heat and light as well. That must be it. But like I said, it's working fine. So in conclusion, yes, watercolor paper can go bad if you don't store it correctly, and also if you don't use it in many years. So make sure that you do use the stuff that you have, especially or particularly if it's expensive paper. I mean, this block with 20 sheets cost me almost 25 euros with a 20% discount off, and that was in 2022. Make sure you use up the paper that you have. Try not to leave it sitting there for too long. And if you do, just make sure that you store it properly. You know, store it in a dark place, dry place, and a place that is not going to be too hot or too cold. So that's my recommendation. I think I am going to close the video here for now. Like I said, I am going to be posting the video about the bookmarks on the next one. I mean, I've already have done them, so you'll be able to see them. You'll be able to see the process in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking the video, for leaving your comments. If you could share it, that would be awesome. But yeah, have a great rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.